This is the JVSCAM C8. It is a small digital camera. It shoots full HD video or 48 megapixel pictures, has autofocus. I was sent this camera to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you between $55 and $60. They haven't paid me for my review, so my opinions remain my own. Alright, so in the box we have the camera inside of a little protective sleeve. And then under the camera there is a set of accessories, which includes a little drawstring bag that fits the camera, a lens cleaning cloth, a user's manual, as well as a package which has a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, and it may also do data through that. And it includes a USB 2.0, so it's a USB-A to, I assume, a micro SD card reader, because this camera does use a micro SD card. So right in here there's a slot with a populated trans flash or micro SD card. And this card here is a 32 gigabyte card, and it has a U3 marking on it, so it's a pretty generic card. And that goes in with these little contacts facing the screen side of the camera. So there's a Type-C USB port here. There's a 1/4x20 tripod socket on the bottom. So it has a wrist strap mounted to the right side. There's also a place on the left you could swap the wrist strap to the other side if you'd like. We have a protective piece of paper over the lens here. And there's a little round selfie mirror where if you center your face in that mirror, it'll be centered in the viewfinder. There's also a little LED flash. We have here the power button, take a picture button. We have a menu, playback, trash, a couple of other icons that I can't identify immediately, and a plus minus button down here. I'm going to run through the menuing system here. So when you push the button down, there's a couple of second delay. It triggers, it beeps, it takes a little while, and it loads up. So the startup isn't excessively slow, but there's several seconds of startup there. Now, you have the choice of menuing here. You can have the camera mode with a little purple icon of the camera, or you can have the little video camera mode where you record a video. So if you push the menu a third time, you get the option menu where you can, pick things like the resolution that you want to shoot at. And I've just left this at the default 48 megapixel resolution. There's the movie size. You can do HD, which is 1280 by 720, or full HD, which is 920 by 1080. The autofocus is set to on. If you set it to off, I believe it just does to a fixed focus. You can set a date and time, but currently the date and time stamp is turned off. The English language is one option. They have other languages as well that you could go through here. They have sounds where you can turn these little clicky noises on and off. There's scene mode, which is typically set to auto, but you can pick landscape, night scenery, portrait if you want to force it to go to a particular mode. The anti-shake I turned on. Smile capture I turned off, or it was off to begin with. And they have things where you can adjust the exposure, the ISO, the white balance, sharpness, power frequency, quality, which is set to fine. And there's various effects, black and white sepia, dim sepia. I just left it at normal. And the power save, after 3 minutes it turns off. And you can format the SD card. So it's relatively standard, generic set of things you can do. If you push and just kind of lightly push, it'll take a picture here. I have autofocus turned off, so that's the fastest it can take a picture with autofocus off. I pushed and it takes a picture. So you go into the menu and change autofocus to on. Now when you take a picture, if you push halfway, it kind of selects an area to autofocus on, and then when you push down, it takes a picture focused on that area. So the buttons down here control the digital zoom. you can go in up to 16x digital zoom. And when you do that, there are some artifacts showing on the screen, and those artifacts do also show up in the pictures that it takes. Alright, I'm turned on the anti-shake feature. I'm going to try the digital zoom. That is 16x digital zoom right there. And this is 8x digital zoom. So I record a lot of product review videos where my camera is, maybe a meter or less from the product. And a lot of cameras have difficulty with autofocusing on areas within, that particular range. And so I'm just shooting this video with the camera to see how does it do, in that kind of close-up, on the tabletop type of situation. So I plugged it into my computer using the supplied USB-C to A cable, and it went through its startup, and then it says MSDC, and it has appeared on my computer so I can access the file system on my computer. And we have, some pictures and videos that I've copied here. There's a total of 200 megabytes of these pictures and videos. So I'm going to copy those over to my computer. And the copying speed here is about 6.8 megabytes a second, maybe 7 megabytes per second. So a reasonable speed, not as high as I've ever seen, but just a couple of short videos and pictures copied over here, it looks like in about 30 seconds or so. We also have a red light up here, which I assume means that it is also charging off of this USB connection. Now, as a fixed camera about a meter away for shooting videos of product reviews, I wasn't terribly impressed. It looked a little fuzzy. It autofocused better than some cameras I reviewed for that situation, but it was a little fuzzy, and I noticed like the white balance would change as I got, different things in the picture. The whole white balance of the whole scene would change. Also, the audio, I think, was the really limiting factor. I heard a lot of fuzz and buzz kind of in the background of the audio, so I didn't feel like the audio was high enough quality. Okay, so as a camera, it's okay. I was not impressed as a video camera. I felt that the audio was a little bit fuzzy, and the quality of the video wasn't super great. It does an okay job for video, but I think it does a better job as a camera than a video camera. So the digital zoom here, I don't believe is of any real benefit. Optically, it doesn't have an optical zoom lens, so I'd say just take pictures at the native resolution and then crop down if you want to get something a little bit closer, because when you zoom in digitally, it kind of takes a smaller area of the sensor, blows it up to a big area, and you have kind of a grainy image. So this camera would be useful taking places where you don't want to accidentally break a more expensive cell phone, giving to a child where it's okay if they were to break it accidentally, but it's kind of interesting to see what pictures the kids take. I don't think it's going to replace any type of real camera or even any real cell phone camera. Quality-wise, just about every cell phone I've ever owned takes better pictures and videos than this guy. And price point, I feel it's a little high for what you're getting. I would like to see this at about a $30 price point. Kind of a, not exactly disposable camera, but a camera that you don't mind if it gets lost, broken, dropped in the lake, that type of thing. So I see this as something where, you're going to give it to your kids to play with and you don't want to worry about it too much. It's functional, it takes pictures, they're not horrible quality pictures, but if you care about audio quality in videos, you care about the the sharpness of pictures, it's really not going to be impressive to you. And I think I would say this is a good deal at about a $30 price point.